Hello, welcome to today's video. So today's video, we are covering Better Auth and Next.js. So we're just going to look at implementing secure authentication using Better Auth. We're going to look at roles, user roles like admin, users, and all that, protecting pages, integration with database, and most importantly, we're going to look at the different auth providers like credentials and OAuth. So let me show you the demo of what we built in today's episode. So if you just go to the login, so you can see we have a nice login where you can log in using the email and password. I'm just going to first log in with email and password. Okay. So you can log in using email and password. So right now I'm just logging in into my application. You can see login success. And this is going to route me to the dashboard. So you can see we have the session. We have this name. I can log out. I can just go ahead and create a new user. And if I try to use the same stuff, let me just come here. So if I just try to use the same email, you can see that we have also handling errors. Email already exists. Let's put in a new email. I'm just going to try now this. I'm just going to say JB. I'm just going to here. First name must be at least 2 characters. I'm just going to say JB web developer. We just use a different email, JB at this is hub. Okay, so I'm just going to so I'm just going to go ahead, and here you can create an account. And with Better Auth, after creating the account, it also creates for you a session, so you don't have to redirect to the login. So you can see we're just like here going to the dashboard. So that is using the credentials. So if I log out or if I just go back, this is another account. So you can just like log out here. Okay, and you can try using Google. And then you can choose a different account. Let me just choose a different account like this one. Continue. So you can see we're using here now Google Auth. And you can see right now I'm logged in. You can see some turns to the dashboard. So you can just go to the dashboard. And you can see that we have this, including the image. You can see there is the image and the name and the email. I can also try using GitHub. So I'm just going to log out from this. Log out. I'm just going to try to use GitHub. Okay. Just going to try to log in with GitHub. So this one does also account linking. So you can see that I already have this email, I already have it in the database. So now it did account linking. For instance, this one, it is now linked with all the 3 accounts that uses this email. So it doesn't do duplicates. It simply links together the accounts. Okay. So you can see we also have different roles. You can see here this one, they are having the user. So you can just go ahead and change the role to admin and all that. So that's what we did in today's video. If you like what we built, first of all, this entire course is on nextjsacademy.com for free. And even here on YouTube, you will watch it for free on YouTube. But I have also added it to our nextjsacademy.com, where we're going to be releasing crystal clear content that is based or that is job oriented. And the ones who are going to be watching from the Next.js Academy, you're going to get, of course, the free source code. So the entire source code of what we did is going to be on the Next.js Academy, and also it will be in parts. So you're going to find this divided into 3 to 4 lessons so that you can watch it at your time. While on YouTube is going to be one video, but then on Next.js Academy, you'll find them as different lessons. Okay, so let's dive in and get started. Hello, welcome to today's video. So today we are looking at Better Auth with Next.js. Okay, so this was also a request. Actually, I'd not given enough attention to Better Auth. So when someone told me about it, I was like, let me just look into it. And yesterday I looked into the documentation for Better Auth. And I think it is really a nice one, right? I just looked into the docs, and I was really able to start out and start using it without even, like someone really helping me so much or even watching a tutorial. I think if you just go here in the installation, it has like a nice better documentation than Auth.js. So we normally just use NextAuth or the Auth.js, the way they had that transition from NextAuth to Auth.js. It is also kind of confusing, but if you just go here on the Auth.js, I think they also try to improve, but you can imagine like up to now, they still have NextAuth beta. So they have a much better documentation, I may say, compared to Auth.js or NextAuth. Then some things are much done out of the box than NextAuth. So we're just going to be diving in today and look at setting up a Better Auth with Next.js, and we see that one how it goes. So we'll use a couple of things. We just set up credentials, that is login with email and password. We'll also look, of course, at the OAuth, that is logging in using Google and GitHub. And we also look at using Prisma adapter with Postgres. And someone requested also that I use Supabase. Like Supabase, I think I'm just going to make a video with Next.js and Supabase just to use most of its things. Like why use it, Supabase as a service, why you're using it for authentication, storage, and so other things. If you want to see that video very fast, please comment in the comment section or in the description. I will see that comment and I will make Supabase with Next.js. But right now, you're going to use Supabase as a Postgres source. We're going to use it to give us a Postgres DB. Then we will also use one thing I think I didn't mention here is that we'll also use resend. Okay, I always just encourage developers to use resend. The fact that it is more of production ready in terms of sending emails. If you don't have a domain up to now, please just spend your maybe $5. In fact, just like 10.8. If you buy from Cloudflare, it's going to be about 10 point something, 10.7 or 10 point something. So just buy a domain. After buying a domain, then get yourself a resend account, and then you start sending using resend. And the reason why you might want to use resend, not the free ones, you will always go inside the spam folder, but this one, you are rest assured it will be in the inbox. So that's why I always encourage resend. And if you don't know the setup for resend, you can also tell me to make a separate video. I think I will one day make a separate video about how to use or how to activate your resend. So we'll use these ones and we are going to start from scratch. So let's get started. So this video at the beginning, I also want to mention that this video or this tutorial will be also on the Next.js Academy platform. So it's going to be our first testing course and it's going to be free. So currently you can see there are no courses. So after recording this course, I'm just going to upload this video also on this platform. This is our new platform we built together in the previous videos, if you haven't watched them, on my YouTube channel. So we built this platform together. It is using S3 and it is using all this heavy tech stack. I've already subscribed to all the necessary things, and this is really nice. And if you also have a course idea that you really want to see, that you think that concept is not well covered on YouTube and you want to request for it, then you can just go ahead and hit this request course, and then you can tell me which course would you like to see. And by the time you watch the video, probably you're going to see one course here, which is going to be Next.js and Better Auth. And those ones who are going to watch from this side of the platform, I'm just going to give you a free source code. So like this starter kit you are going to build today, you're going to get it for free. So that's going to be one thing. And also the course is going to be free. It's going to be free, and I will be waiting for your feedback. Okay. So after logging in, you will just hit dashboard. You will see a different dashboard altogether. Might be not looking like this, but one thing you can just do is you can also write to me a feedback. Okay, you can just like say a feedback. You write for me a feedback here. I will see it. You're like, I think this one is better. You can improve on this. Just make a platform really much better for you guys, so that you can watch crystal clear content that has no ads. You know, on YouTube, how you are watching a course and then you're having all these pop-ups, skip and all that. So you can just always watch them also here, and they will be really videos short but so clear. Okay, so I'm just going to close out this. Yeah, so you can just like you will just like check it out. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing, I'm just going to go ahead and create a Next.js application. So you can see npm create next app, Better Auth starter kit. That's the name I'm giving it. I will use TypeScript. I will use ESLint. I will use Tailwind. No. App router, yes. And then Turbo Pack, yes. And then we have this one. We'll leave it at default. So as it is installing, let's open, of course, Shard. So I'm just going to open Shard here and just hit the installation. So I'm just going to go to installation next, and you can just go ahead and install ShardCN just like this. So just going to give this one a second to finish. I'm going to give it some few seconds. Meanwhile, we're just going to have, let me just go back here. So just going to set up this email and password login. So what we need to do is, I'm just going to head to React. So I also have this for React UI components. Please, it is reactUIcomponents.com. React UI. There is React components, which is not mine, or which is not ours. This one is reactUIcomponents.com. So on the React UI components, we also built this platform some long time ago. And I'm just going to be launching, by the way, templates, leave alone these ones. I will be launching really high advanced templates so soon on this landing page here. Okay. But right now, I'm just going to go to simple UI. So click into simple UI. And today we're just going to use the auth. So just scroll down. So we have different categories. You can see marketing. And then we have the application UI. And today I'm just going to be using the auth UI. So just click in auth UI. And on the auth, you have a lot of choices you can use. We have this one, which has a carousel. You can also use this one. And then we have, you can scroll down here. We have these ones which have layouts. So there is this ones, I like this one. They have 3 layouts. I'm not going to use those ones today. I'm just going to scroll down to the last ones. So scroll down to these simple ones. So there is this simple one here, which has login v2, and there is also register v2, and then there is forgot password v2. So you can just see this nice clean UI that we have going on here. So as this has finished, I'm just going to cd into my beta like this. I will also go ahead and install shard. So you make sure you are inside the your folder. I'm just right now inside the beta or starter kit. So just go ahead and install shard. So I'm just going to keep it to New York. And then I'm just also going to keep it to neutral. Okay. And after that, I'm just going to, okay, so it is done. So I'm just also going to simply open code.-r, and this is going to open up this project. And let's start by seeing what is going on. So I'm just going to run this. I'm just going to run the terminal. So I'm just going to say pnpm dev, npm dev, just like this. Okay, and I should just like hit localhost 3000 to see our application running. So I'm just going to say control click. Okay, this opens up the localhost 3000 in the browser. So the next step is to create some pages. I'm just going to first lower down this. So we have already installed shard. So I'm just going to go down here. So maybe the first thing you could just do is adding maybe a few things if you want. Let's say, nice. So you wonder like the first time you start the app and you're having already the hydration error, really, it is always there. So, but let's just go here on the home page, and you can put anything you want on the home page. So you can just like make the app, of course, interesting. Apart from these, here you can just duplicate this, and let me just go and look on some other. You can just go back here, and you can just like look at the hero sections if you are interested. Let's add one. Just going to show you my favorite. So you can just like go ahead and get a hero section. I don't know which one you like most, but I'm just going to scroll down. I like these ones which have actually also the navigation. I think I'm just going to look one which has a navigation. That is my favorite down last. I think this one. Can I just like get the ones which have sort of like a navigation already. I don't want just to go ahead and I think this one has a navigation. Yeah, so there is this one which has, you know, kind of like this, looks nice. So I can just go ahead and get this. It has even navigation. Just go ahead and just copy this. And I can just go ahead and create here in the components. So just go ahead and create a new folder for components. We're just going to keep it cool, by the way. I'm just going to create components just like this. And then you can just have the hero.tsx, and then we can add all this just like this. And then you can see if there is any need of installing some other plugins or anything. For instance, there is this headless React, so we can add that in a second. And then the hero icons. Then apart from that, we have already installed, I want also to create the pages. So I'm just going to go ahead. So you can see we have these errors. So the first one is at headless React. So you can just say pnpm add. So you can just stop the server and I say pnpm add at headless React. You can also just confirm the package by going in the browser and paste it the way it is like this. And you can always just go installation like here on npm and just look at the command for installing that package. You can see here it is installed at headless React. The second one is going to be this at hero icons React. So I'm just going to go ahead and you can also just type in hero icons React. So you can see there is also this package, hero icons React. So this, I'm also going to go ahead and use pnpm to add it. So pnpm add or install, it doesn't matter. pnpm add. Okay, so I'm just going to add those for our icons. Okay, they just say go ahead and add the pages. So this hero section, let me first see its name. So there is hero section 1. I'm just going to say hero section, just maybe hero, just like this. And I can just go to my home page and I'm just going to say remove everything. So RFC. Okay, I'm just going to say RFC. So sometimes when you are seeing the PC running this, most times it is, you know, slowing down. Okay, so it is done with that. So you can just now run my RFC and it should just give me this. Okay, so in here, I'm just going to say hero. Hero like that. I don't know what is slowing down my PC, guys. It might be just like I'm having only one application running and that is like OBS. I'm not sure if it is the one that is consuming my memory. But otherwise, let's just import this. And if you just go back here, we still have a couple of things. I thought we installed the hero icons React. Oh, okay, it is gone. Nice. Okay, so we can now look at our application. Let me just start it again. pnpm dev. Okay, let's add the pages. So I like to always add this as a group. So I'm just going to add auth. So you can just add auth just like this. And then also you can add like another one for protected. So this one is going to be for all the protected pages, protected, just like this. And this is just going to have our dashboard. So this side of the auth, we're just going to create in one thing, which is going to be the login .tsx. No, not the login.tsx. So I'm just going to rename this. So I'm just going to say login slash page.tsx, just like this. And this is why our login is going to be located. So you can just come and put RFC, and this is going to be the login page. This is the login. And then I'm just going to create another one. So create another one, which is going to be register. So you can just say sign up or register. I don't know which one you prefer. I'm always fond to do register. And then maybe just like today, just sign up. Sign up, just like this. And then page.tsx. Okay, so in just RFC, and this is going to be the sign up page. This is the sign up page, just like this. And then I'm just going to create one more, which is going to be the dashboard. So in this, I will also add a layout. I always like to write add a layout here, .tsx, and RFC. You can just go ahead and add a layout. And this, just simply add children for now. And children are of type React node. So children are of type React node. And then you can place the children here, just like that. And now the next one, you're just going to create under protected. Just simply go ahead and add the dashboard. So I'm just going to come and add the dashboard. And then in here, I'm just going to come and again and put page. So this is going to be our dashboard, TSX. Okay, you can just like add a dashboard, and also in this one you can just go ahead and add a layout. So within this page, let me first say RFC, and you can just go ahead and add this is like you add H2 of saying this is a dashboard. And I'm just going to also add a layout. So a layout, you just add it inside the protected. So depending why you want to add this, I'm just going to add one layout here. So basically you can just simply copy and get this. And you can just give them names like this one, auth layout. Okay, auth layout. And you can just come bring one here, just copy this, and let's add it in the protected. And this I'm just going to call it the dashboard layout. So dashboard layout. Okay, so now it is about to add in the actual things. By the way, let's go and see what's happening on our app for now. Okay, I just want the actual app. Let's refresh. Just going to see, is the app on running? Okay, compiling. Meanwhile, I'm just going to be in the components. I'm just going to create in the parts. I always like to create in 3 folders. Okay, you're going to see why. So the first folder is for the auth. So anything related to auth, I add it in the auth components. Then I have another one for the dashboard. Then I have another one for the front. So you can just say there's going to be one for the front. So the front is these non-protected pages, like the about page, service page, and all that. Okay. And then you can also have the global component. So I always have like one more, which is global. And global is where I put things which cut across. Let's say you have something which you are going to use in both the front, auth, and maybe also on the dashboard side. So just say with that, let's look at this. Wow, so this already looks nice. Okay, this looks nice already. So we just simply want to put in this link for the login and the sign up. Okay, so you can just first go to my hero section, and you can just go ahead and separate the nav and you put it in the layout. I'm just going to show you that. Normally people always ask me like, how do I get this out? Because if you look at this, you can simply go ahead and put everything. So like this, and then this is the actual hero section is this one. So I'm just going to first of all create this and separate it. So I can create in the components. So now you see in the this header is going to work in the front. So I just come here and I just simply say the header dot tsx and just say RFC, just like this, and let's paste the header here like this. And this is going to come with its own things if you just look at it, like things like the scroll and other things. So just go here. I think all this was for it. So I just normally copy everything and just go ahead and put them here. Just a second. So we have these ones first inside. So I'm just going to copy this and then add it here. And then I will also just go here and bring up the navigation with this. So you can just go ahead and bring in this here like so. Save. And let's look at the ones we are not using. So the good thing with ESLint, we tell you things you're not using and clear them up. Okay, so there is a comment here, please, and a comment line 156 to add decorative blurs. I'm just going to see that. But basically we have this. I'm just going to change in our navigation where we have where do we have things? Okay, so we have here login. So first change this to a link, a next link like this, and let's change this one to /login, and let's also change this one to a link first, and then change this one to sign up. So /sign up, just like that. And I think all the remaining ones are okay. So just go back here, and now we can remove the header part. And now the actual header section is only this one, right? This one here. This is the actual header. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to remove this header first, and I will also copy this bg gradient. You might just not want to do that, so go back to the front layout. So in here we have this global layout. I'm also going to create one more folder here, and this is going to be the front. So you're just going to say front like this, and in the front is where you're going to put everything. So you can just go ahead and place your page inside the front. And another thing, you can also just go ahead and create another layout. So I'm just going to create a new layout here, .tsx rfc, and then the file here is not layout. So make sure that this is layout. I'm just going to name this one as the front layout. And of course, just go ahead and add the children. Children just like this. And these children are of type React Node. And then in here, I'm just going to add the children. And then within this, I will give this class name. And now I will just call our header. So just call the header here. Just like so. Header. And then within the hero section, you can just go ahead and now remove the other one. So I'm just going to cut this and just add it here like this. Okay, moving on. Just go ahead and remove all the things that we are not using here. Navigation, states, okay, like this. And even this use effect, I don't think we're using it. Okay. So this is the improved decorative. You can just go ahead and comment this. Okay, and that's it. So it still have 2 errors. Just go on top and let's remove the use. And you can also remove this use effect. Nice. So let's go back and see if this changes everything. So we have this header. We have added the layout, and the layout is having this header. And then in this, we have our hero section. So we shouldn't just have anything different. I guess, let's just refresh. Okay, error, could not find the module hero. This is probably a bug in the, okay, let's just do what? Just go back in this. I think I can just like, we have the page from component 0. Does this have to go inside like this page? Does it need to go inside there? I'm not sure. Okay. I'm just going to first like drop this app in the app. I'm not sure if it's just like about that. That shouldn't be the problem anyways. I don't think so. Let's go back to the hero. We have everything looking great. Maybe I'm just going to restart. Just like this. Okay. Okay, so meanwhile, I'm just also going to bring in these pages, the other pages. I don't know why this one is taking us our time. Okay, so you can see this one is back without the header, and the reason why that happens is that the header is not in this layout. So this header is in this other layout, right? You don't want to use this global layout. This global layout is set for this global layout is set for the entire app. So you want to always use this one. So I'm just going to place this into here like so. Into this layout, and so that it can use this layout right now. And I don't know, changing that shouldn't be changing anything really. That's what I'm trying to say. Yep, so now we are good. We are good, and this is looking great, by the way. Okay, so you say here, transform your data with Intel. So you can just go ahead and customize this for authentication. Just going to right away just go to the login, and then so you can see the login has a different layout, and then the sign up. Yep. So let's add these pages. Go back to this just the simple auth. I'm just going to get these pages. So I'm just going to go ahead and add. So go down here. So in our first section, let's set up all these pages, and then before we go into the Better Auth, so we are setting up right now the pages. So we currently have the home page. Let's set up the login, reset password page, and others. So let's start with maybe the register. So just go here on the code and just get the code, and let's take it to the register component. So inside the components auth, I'm just going to go ahead and add sign up.tsx like this, and I'm just going to go up just like so. And the first thing I'm just going to do is rename this component. So you can see it comes with Zod and everything. So I'm just going to change this one from register to sign up. Okay, sign up just like that. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and then we're going to install some of the packages. But before that, let me also bring in the other ones. So just going to have another one, login.tsx. Let's bring the login. So I will scroll down to the login. So this is the login. And just get this. I'm just going to paste it just like that. Okay, nice. And now let's finally get the one for you can also bring in this one, which is they forgot password. So I'm just going to copy this also. So this one is they forgot. It doesn't have the right forgot password, as if I can spell the word password. TSX, and I'm just going to add this. So basically we have all the things. Let's go ahead and look at these different things. So the first one is going to be shared components, and so far we just need 3 components, that is 4 components. So let's go ahead and see. I'm just going to open a new tab, go back to shard. So I'm just going to go here and just go to shard. And let's start with a first component. So we have the button, just like this. And normally I just always get one installation, and then I add all of them. So you can just get this like so. And then in the front here, you can add others. So just add all of them. So we have button, and then we have input, then we have form. Okay, and then we have sooner, just like this. Let's like sooner is double ER, just like this. So you can just go ahead and add all these ones at once. And another one we just need to add is going to be Zod. So yeah, another just going to be adding is going to be Zod. Okay, it's going to be Zod. So I will add Zod just right after installing this. So meanwhile, what this is just simply doing, if you can just going to go ahead and into this register anyways. So let me just go ahead and install Zod. So I will just say p npm add Zod. We're just going to also add React hook form. So React hook form, and then we are going to also add this add form resolve as Zod. I think this one, after installing React hook form, it should just like let's see. I'm just going to, does this one add it separate? I don't think so. Okay, so after installing those ones, let's look at the amount of errors we have right now. Okay, we still have a few errors here and there. Just going to scroll down, and just this router we are not using. So basically there is no any errors in the sign up. So I'm just going to get this sign up and just code it inside the sign up like this. So inside this page here, we just call the sign up just like so. Sign up, please come on. So I'm just going to call this sign up. So I have this, and I'm just going to sign up. So the same thing, go to the login and let's check out the errors we have. So the state is just the router and these values here, because they are not being used. I'm just going to simply console.log the values. Okay. And I'm also just going to come and change this one from login v2 to simply login. And I will just go to the login page. And then inside here, I'm just going to call this login. Okay, just login like so. Okay, so now let's go ahead and check these pages, how they look like. I'm also going to probably create another one here, which is going to be like forgot password. Forgot password. We'll just also create this one afterwards, page.tsx. I actually just haven't implemented all these ones with Better Auth. I was just looking in the documentation and I looked like I was understanding them. And today we are just doing it, see if we can pull it off. So just go ahead and here, and let's look at the pages. So you can see the sign up. Nice. So we have sign up, and down here it should be sign in. Okay, have an account, sign in. And we are also on the sign in. So the forgot password, we can also go ahead and add this. However much we don't have the page, but I can just come here in this and see page RFC. Okay, and I'm just going to say this is, so here H2. You can say this is this forgot password, just like that. Okay, so this looks great. You can just like go back here, so you don't have the sign up and sign in. So that's the nice thing altogether, right? Okay, so that looks great. We just have the login and the sign up. So just get started with the implementation. Let's start with the sign up. So if you just go back the sign up, there's one thing though I want to change. I want to change one thing. So if you scroll down here, there are some extra components like the app icon and also these icons. So I just want to simply get this into a reusable component. So cut this, the app icon, and let's go, since this one is also used in many places, so this app icon might be used as the logo. So I'm just going to go here and I'm just going to say app icon, .tsx. I'm just going to place it here. So this is export app logo icon. So you can just say also call it app logo icon. App logo icon. And let's go ahead, whatever you're using it, you're going to get it from here. Another one I'm just going to use, so I can now go ahead and remove it from here. Oh, wait, what am I removing, guys? I'm just going to remove this app logo icon. Another one I want us to remove is the icons. So these icons, I'm just going to cut this and go in the global, and let's add these icons.tsx like this. And let's check if there is no any errors. Okay, so now if you just check this, let's import the SVG attributes from React. This comes from React. Oh, not from, it's supposed to come from React, right? Yeah. So get them from React. And then inside the login, let's see now. So go down here. First of all, let's remove these remove this one. And let's go down to where we have this app icon. Import now this to come from this global. And then also these the icons. So you can just go ahead and import the icons from the also global icons, just like this, and the errors are gone. So let's do the same changes to our sign up. So you can go ahead and remove these icons. Okay. So if you remove the icons, let's start by removing this. And let's go down here. Let's say import this from global. And also the icons, just like this. This is just to clean up, just to reuse some of the things for future. Okay, so this looks great. So starting with the sign up, we can confirm that everything is still working the way it was. Let's go to the create. Oh, so this one still takes into this. So go to the login and let's make sure that this points to the right direction. So down here, just point this one to the sign up. And this one's going to be sign up for a new account or create an account, which is okay. So let's go here. And you can also design the 404 page if you want. Let's go back here, sign up. Okay, so the first thing I would just go is inspect. Okay. And then on inspect, so if right now I just simply add data, like just go ahead and add the first name, last name, and my password. Just like this. And just simply click continue. Password must contain at least one number. Okay, just say put this login at 2025. Enter. So you can see I see all my data: the email, first name, last name, and the password. That's why I like simple UI. So you come when this is configured for you. You simply don't have to mess up anything. Simply just click and everything is working. That's why I love simple UI, guys. You can imagine the time you would take to again add ShadCN and then add Zod. The validation rules are already working. If you just go to the sign up, you see that we already have Zod with all the validation rules for the first name, last name, email, and the password. And you can see on the password, you have the mini, you have the must contain one uppercase, one lowercase, and one number. So you have all the validation rules with with the validation rules all working. And this is the same thing to the sign up. So if you just go back to sign up, let's clean up. To the login, you have your email and my password 2025. Just click, and you have also the email and password just working fine. Okay, so this is nice. We have a good working spot. Okay, so in the next section, we're just going to start the integration. Okay, so in the next step, we're just going to add the integration with Better Auth. Okay, so let's just go to Better Auth documentation. You can just go ahead and first close out the simple UI unless we want something. But I'm just going to go back here in the browser and just go to the documentation for the Better Auth. So the good place to start with, I think, is the installation. Of course, you can just go ahead and read about the Better Auth. It is a framework agnostic framework, meaning that they have a high level abstraction of the maybe some concepts that you shouldn't just go with. That means like it has some configuration done for you, and it is specifically for TypeScript based frameworks. Like it can work in different places. If you want to see any other place with Better Auth, if you go down here to integrations, you will see you can use it in full stack, the Astro Remix, Next, Verkit, Sword Start, then like here 10 Start, and then you have backend Honor. I'm also working on Honor. Anytime I'm just going to release Honor, okay? Anytime I'm going to release Honor, so be waiting for it. You can also use it in mobile. That's nice. That's nice if it's in Expo. I like this. If you can integrate Better Auth in Expo Direct, this would be really nice. Anyways, let's go ahead and just get started from the installation, and let's go ahead and install Better Auth. So just come here and we just install Better Auth. So we just go here on a clean slate, Ctrl C, and let's clear everything at the Better Auth. So that's the first thing. The second thing is here, if you're using a separate client and server setup, make sure to install Better Auth in both parts of your project. We're using one, which is Next.js. Then set up environmental variables. So create the .env file and let's add the secret. So let me just create that. You can just come here and you say touch .env, just like this. This will just create for us an env file, just like this. And let's add some things. The first one is Better Auth secret. So click on generate and just copy this. So that's our first environmental variable. We are adding Better Auth secret. So you remember even in NextAuth, and by the way, the Better Auth has the same kind of implementation like NextAuth. So if you're used with NextAuth, this shouldn't be really hard. You're going to find this really easy to understand because it follows the same architecture like NextAuth. So you can see Better Auth secret. The other one is NextAuth secret. So here we have the base URL. So I'm just going to also again here and copy the base URL. So down here, I'm just going to add base URL just like this. And you know, I like putting my, I think just like a habit, I don't know. I like putting my environmental variables in quotes. It is not necessary at all. But I like putting them like this. It shows me as if they are being read, really. Another thing is create a Better Auth instance. So you can see create a file named auth.js in one of these locations, either lib or utils. So we already have a lib folder. So I'm just going to use that. So in the lib folder, let's create auth.ts, auth.ts file. And then into this, they're saying in this, you can also nest any of these folders under the source or app. And they're saying here you can add this. So you can just go ahead and add this like so. Okay, so one thing is that you can configure database. So they say Better Auth requires a database to store the user data. So you can actually configure a database direct, like, and without using any adapters or any ORM. So you can configure a database direct, like a Postgres SQLite like this. But since we are going to use, we are going to be using an ORM, you can actually skip this step number 4 and you just simply go to step number 5, and you can see it just actually still on step number 4 here. If you scroll down and say if you prefer to use ORM over a database direct, this is now what you're going to use. So I prefer to use ORM, which is going to be our Postgres. So here ORM, or if your database is not supported by Kezuri, you can use one of the built-in adapters. So they support 3 adapters currently: Prisma, Drizzle, and MongoDB. And like this is pretty horrid. Like if they are supporting even MongoDB, the mongoose, this is like nice. So you're going to use Prisma. So just go ahead and just update this. So we'll change, of course, the Prisma here in a second, but just simply update our NextAuth. Here the auth.ts. Now for this Prisma, we'll work on it just a second, don't mind. Then another thing is create a database table. So you can see here, Better Auth includes a CLI tool to help manage schema required by the library. So it can generate for you the schema that is required. We're just going to look at that. So you can say generate command. This command generates an ORM schema or an SQL migration file. So we're just going to, of course, to run this. But before we run it, we need to actually first install the Prisma adapter because we haven't done so. So I'm just going to come here and you can first add npm add Prisma. And I think this one you just can add it as a dev dependency, the Prisma itself. And then we're also going to go ahead and add the Prisma client. So you need to install Prisma and the Prisma client. So normally what I just normally like is open in this because I always like documentation, guys. So just add like Prisma Next.js like this. And just like go here. They have guides. You can see there is this guide for this, and then there's also this guide here. Like here. Okay, so the easiest way to work with database in Next.js, so try Next with Prisma. So I think this opens the same. Oh, so this one just opens a repo of Next.js and stuff. Okay, so just like go ahead and use this first one I opened on the guides. Okay. So the first one is to go ahead and install, of course, your Prisma. So you can see here you have to install the Prisma as a safe dependency. And then after you can install this here. And by the way, if you're not going to use Prisma Postgres, you can see here on top, Prisma Postgres. Someone was asking me about this extension. It works with Prisma Postgres. So they also have a database for Postgres, which is nice. So just simply install this Prisma client. So I'm just going to go here. After this one has finished installing, I'm just going to clear. This add npm add at Prisma client. So just add the Prisma client. Then now we can just go ahead and initialize a Prisma instance, as you can see here. Once you install this, now you can just run a npm init, and you can of course put this generated. You don't need to do this minus db minus output like this. You don't need to do that. Okay, you don't need to do this. I'm just going to simply, so you say this will create a prisma.env and an output directory for the generated Prisma like this. So what I'm just going to do is simply run, so let's clear this, okay, run npx Prisma init, just like this. Since we are going to use Postgres, if you're going to use like MongoDB, you're supposed to say dash data source, like you just specify, I think MongoDB like this. But since you're going to use Postgres, so you just simply run npx Prisma init, and this one is going to go ahead and initialize Prisma. Basically, it will create the Prisma folder. Okay, so let's just wait for this, like so. This should just create for us npx Prisma init. I don't know what is happening right now. Meanwhile, it is doing that, they just go ahead. So after running this npx Prisma init, fetching latest updates for this sub command. Okay. So let me just go back to the Better Auth. So the next thing is run this, generate this here. I'm just going to copy this, copy. This is taking more time than expected. It is not supposed to take all this time. If yours is working faster, you can tell us the npx Prisma init. Okay, so finally it has run. So it says that it has created the Prisma schema, and it is saying set up database URL and everything. So I'm just going to go here. Not just there. So you can see that it created this Prisma folder, which is nice. And in the env, I think they have added for us a new database URL. Yes, so if you just see here, they have added database URL. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove these comments. Okay, just like this. So just going to get database URL in a second. But right now, what we can do is, if you check in the schema here right now, you see that this one comes with actually output lib generated Prisma. Okay, it is putting this in the lib folder. So you can of course change this if you don't want it in the lib, but let's leave it in the lib right now. I will also clean up this. They're saying to learn more about this, you can read the docs and this. Okay, so you can just see here the provider by default, they have it as Postgres and database URL. So the next thing you're just going to do is actually to first get the database URL. So to get database URL, we're just going to use, we'll use Supabase. Okay, we are just going to use Supabase for this. So I will just go to my Supabase, just the dashboard. You can just go ahead and log in, create an account, and so on and so forth. So I just want to choose one of these organizations that maybe I have like one project. The problem with Prisma is this whole thing of pausing the projects and everything. So I was just like yesterday when I was trying out Better Auth, you can see I created this project, of which I'm just going to go ahead and delete. That is, if I can find out where they can delete this. So that we just create it from the start, delete this project, and just simply type this. I understand. So just go ahead and delete this project, and because they only give you really 2 projects, okay, they give you 2 projects, so you can see like this one has only 2 projects, so they give you only 2 projects. Now, I don't know if in one project you can add multiple databases. I'm not so sure. So we just add a new project. I'm just also going to name this as Better Auth starter kit. Then the password, I'm just going to generate this. Please make sure you copy the password. Okay, copy your password and just bring it to your temporary. First, bring this to your env. So I'm just going to come down here and I paste my password. So it is a good that you paste that. I'm just going to change this to you can change this to London. I just want to say West Europe, London. And then I'm just going to go ahead and create the project. And now to connect to this project, simply click on connect. So they changed it long time ago. We used to scroll down and you go to somewhere database. Not database, was it just there? Somewhere like we used to use some other place to get this, but right now they changed the location. You simply, I think, to just click on this, you go and so right now just simply click on connect, and now they give you how to connect to this. You can see connection string, app framework, then a mobile framework, and ORMs. So they have different things here if you want to connect to different frameworks. So you can see with Supabase.js, for instance. So they have a lot of things here, but we want to stick to ORMs. So go to ORMs, and in the ORM, you can see here they have Prisma. So you can see they have others like Breeze also, but Prisma is number one. So under Prisma, you can see they say that they give you even what you're supposed to put in the Prisma and also in the env. So in the env, you need to put two things. One, you can put this. So you can copy these to copy and just go to your here. I'm just going to replace this. So we have database URL and the direct URL. So all of them, they are needed. Direct connection to database, and this one via the connection pooling. So what I'm just going to do is go ahead and add my password. So cut this, and wherever we have the password, replace it with your actual password. So I will just go here and add the password like so. Now go back here. Let's go to Prisma, and then you can just simply copy this. So you can see it has URL and data and direct URL. So you can just add these two in your source. So in the here, you can we have only the URL. So now you can just like add the direct URL just like this. So this is the only thing we need. Okay. So I'm just going to say Control C. I'm just going to go ahead and clear just like so. So one thing we have also to do is create a global Prisma instance before we move forward. So I'm just going to go back this documentation we use it for the Next.js. If you go down here, define your Prisma schema, but definitely down here there is where they have a Prisma instance, I bet. Okay, so you can see here that now add the following code in your lib prisma.ts. So I'm just going to copy this. This is create one single Prisma instance. So you can just go here. I always add it inside this Prisma folder, and I just name it as db. So db.ts. Okay, db.ts, and just paste this. Okay, so now just remove the with accelerate. We are not using anything with accelerate. Accelerate works with the Postgres that comes from Prisma or Prisma Postgres. So remove that, and then also this dot extension. We don't need it, just like so. And now I'm just going to change this one to be, instead of Prisma, I'm just going to name this one as db. And this is what we'll export db here. And this same as db here also. So this will be used as DB. Now let's look at this generated, because right now it is not there. So what we can do before we run the generated command, we can just go ahead and run. So you can just go ahead and run this command now. So after you have set up Prisma, which you have done, you can now go ahead and run this Better Auth CLI generate. So let me just run this. The npx Better Auth CLI generate. So this one, sometimes it takes actually some time to first, I think, install the CLI, because at first we installed only the Better Auth. So this one should just first actually install the Better Auth CLI. So if it takes maybe some more time for your case, just know it's supposed to do that. Okay, so it doesn't feel like we have couldn't read your auth config. Error cannot find module Better Auth generated. Okay, let's first generate the Prisma. Okay, so here I'm just going to first go ahead and run npx Prisma generate. So this one should just now generate this generated thing here, this app generated Prisma thing. If you run that, so you can see here, okay, so it has generated. So if you just go in our lib, we have the generated. Okay, we have generated, and now these errors are gone. So if you go in our auth, by the way, what we didn't do, we didn't update this, by the way. Let's just first update that. So if you just go back here, we are not using this. So with Prisma, we are using actually Postgres. So in the provider here, add Postgres. That's the first thing. So let's add Postgres. I'm just going to remove this comment. And now, just while you have this Prisma client, just go ahead and remove all this. And then here, just add DB, because we are naming it as DB from Prisma. Then remove also this. Okay, so now we are good. So now we are getting this single instance from our Prisma here. And then if you go back this side, it says cannot find a module really here, or its declarations. I'm not sure about that, but I just go ahead now and run the command again. So just going to clear, and let's just run this, not this one, the Better Auth generate command. So now we can run this Better Auth CLI generate after you have set up. So at least the good thing, you have seen that error. So after you have set up, then let's go ahead and run this one more time. And this one is going to populate our schema. Okay, this is going to populate this schema here. So right now you can see we don't have anything in the schema, but then after running this command, which up to now is giving me the same error. So it's saying here I can't find the module app generated Prisma. So if you look at this, if you look at this, if you look at the DB, we have this is in the app generated. So this is not in the app generated. This is in the lib. This is in the lib. If you wanted to use this one, this is can be a bit confusing. The schema here is the one which actually tells where it should be, like this. So here we decide to put it in the lib generated. That means this same path should be the one you use in your stuff here. I don't know why actually it changed, but this supposed to go back and supposed to come from, I don't know what changed here. Oh, I think just because I changed this is supposed to come from dash dash. Let's see, supposed to come from this dash dash lib generated Prisma. Since we decided to put it in the lib, so you can put wherever you want. I think in the lib is a good place, not scatter up many things. So you can just add it in the lib. Now there is no errors here. Let's run one more time. Clear this. So let's run one more time. So the Prisma client really is required for this to run successfully. Make sure you don't have any errors in this file. Let's give it some seconds to go ahead and generate. So this time it should work. Okay, so you can see that the file Prisma schema already exists. Do you want to overwrite this schema file? So we want to overwrite, but I'm just going to simply copy one thing before we overwrite it. I just want to copy this database source because of this direct URL and direct URL. I'm not sure if it's going to replace all this because we need to keep this. And even the client, I can just copy this for now. And then I'm just going to say yes, because we want it to go ahead and write for us. So you say yes. Okay, and successfully replaced this. Let's check. It did not replace our things. So it left the way it is. It simply added the user model. So if you just look at this, it went ahead and added the user, session, and account, and all this nice stuff. Okay, so we're just going to change one thing though from here. So I just always just use here at ID. So just say at default. And then here, just going to pass in the CUID. So just going to change all of them to this one. So basically you can say Control F like this. Okay, let's replace one by one anyways. So simply do like this. So I always want to use the CUID, so you can just go ahead and replace all these. So they generate for you all the necessary unlike the NextAuth, where you have to configure this by yourself, this one actually just adds everything for you. So we have generated the schema. Now at this point, let's go ahead and run the migrations. So the next thing you have to do right now is run the migration. So you can just say, so before you run the migration, we want to modify this. This is where things get interesting, because by default, this is what is going to be put in the session. Okay, this is what is going to be put in the session, but we might just want to modify a couple of things in this one. So the first one I want to add is going to be, if you look in our sign up form. So if you look at the sign up, this is the login, and this is the sign up. Where is the sign up? So go to create an account. So we have a sign up form. If you look at it, it has first name, last name, email, and password. So I would want to add in those. So I want to add in the first name and last name. So just come down here and just add first name, then last name, last name. Okay. So I'm just going to add last name, and finally I'm just also going to add in a role. So want to have like a role of admin and others. So what I'm just going to do is I will add in one more field, which is going to be role. So I'm just going to go here enum, and with this enum I'm just going to create user role, just like this. And I'm just going to just say we are going to have two, admin and the user. So you can just add as many roles you want, but for now I'm just going to add admin and the user. And then you can just come here. Let's add one more thing, which is going to be a role. So role, which in this case is going to be of type user role. And then at default, I just want to add in to be user. So when you create a new user, should be given a role. So this, we are going to see how to configure this. So we changed, we added our new keys in this user, and you can see they have things like email verified, which are also inside of NextAuth. Then they have the image, which is not required. Then they have sessions and accounts. Okay, so now there are some settings we need to do before we move on. So if you just go back to the Better Auth, we need to do some other things. So after this, you can see that you are done. You're supposed to run the migrate, which we have already going to run migrate by ourselves. Authentication methods. So you can see here in this, you can also add in this. So just going to go in the Better Auth, let's add in this too. So you can just copy this, copy, and let's go to the global. Sorry, in the auth.ts, and inside this, so you can see that you can add other configurations. So after this comma, I'm just going to add this. So you can add in the email and password, which is true. And then here you can also add the max length and the min length. We're going to look at that. So then you have social providers. So you have GitHub. I'm just going to duplicate this, and you add also Google, just like this. And then you can replace this GitHub with Google. And you say Google, just like this. So this is how you add the social providers, GitHub, Google, and you can just go ahead and add as many as you want. So there are some other things you can just like add. So if you just see here in this mount handler, so we're just going to configure this when we reach in Next.js. So let's go here down and integrations. Let's look for the Next.js. So there are some things which are for Next.js. We'll come back here. There are some things you can configure in this auth. I wish I could just like find those things. I think like under maybe concept, we have the API, we have the client. Let's see, like under this, the client is just going to see it. And then we're going to look, they have a lot of hooks they have. Okay. They have a lot of hooks they have. Okay. You can just take a look at some of the concepts here. They have here adapters, we already see. I'm just going to just simply, then there's email. So they're going to talk about much about the email is a key part of the Better Auth required for all users regardless of the authentication method. So this is very, very important. So we'll just be seeing things here like during sign up, they require email verification and so other things like this. So we'll just be seeing how we are going to do this. Okay. What I'm just going to do right now, that is part of the API, blah, blah. Okay. So the one thing that we just wanted to do is I wanted to look at, there is something that I wanted to look at, and this is here on the pathword. There is what we call marked. So here you can just come here and you just say the min length. So you can pass in the min length, and you can just say like min length is going to be like 8 characters, depending on what you set on your what you have in the sign up. So here in the sign up, you see it is min of 8. So you can also add the min length here. Then I don't know the other props you can have here. There is auto sign in. Okay. So you can just like see some other things we have here. Send request password, send this. So I'm just going to add this auto sign in to true. Okay, so after they register, you sign in. Then another thing you're just going to add here is going to be, I think, account. And then in this account, I think there is account linking. And this is an object. Like set true. I'm not sure. I think he's supposed to do something like this. And what do you pass in here? I like this. So enabled. So here you can see allow different emails, allow linking, or enabled to. So I'm just going to say enabled to, just like this. So I think this is the one I wanted to set. So the email, password, and then this account linking. What the account linking means, if someone had signed up using the credentials, now he signs up again using Google, they can join that into one account. Then what next? After setting up this, of course, you're supposed to get your Google and GitHub secrets. That is for later. When you're setting up that. But I think this is what I just need in my beta. This one. Let's go to the Next.js now. So just going to set up now Better Auth with Next.js using the guide. So under the integrations, let's go and search for Next. And let's look at what we need to do. So the first thing you need to have installed Better Auth, which we already did. Then create the API route. So the first one is to create this catch-all route. This one. I'm just going to simply copy this. So we don't have the API folder yet. So you can copy everything. Go in the app, create a new file, and paste everything like this. So this will create the API folder, create the auth folder. Inside the auth, it will create the catch-all route, and then to report the route. And then within this route, I'm just going to add this. This is the same thing with NextAuth. So you can also change the path on your Better Auth configuration, but it's recommended to keep it this. So for pages, then you can for this. Then the second thing you need to do is create a client. So create a client instance. You can name the file anything you want. Here is what you can do, creating client.ts file inside the lib. So just going to go ahead and create this auth client.ts. So I'm just going to go ahead and create this. So in the lib, we can create the auth client.ts like this. And this we are going to put the configuration for the auth client. So next, you can see here, once you have created the client, you can use it sign up. You can use it sign up in and perform other things. Now, this here is not yet finished. What you put in here is actually the base URL. So here in this here is not done nicely, but if you just go back to the here to the get started under the installation, if you scroll down here, you will see that they talked about the client. So like they created the client somewhere, so you can see that we have already created this one. So you can see that they are creating the client instance. So if you look at the client instance we have, is the same as this auth client.ts, and you can see inside there is this the base URL. So you can just simply pass in inside here the base URL. There are some other things you can pass in, by the way, in here. So the good thing, it is TypeScript. So first, so you can see what is going here. We have the base URL. And then you have also the plugins and the fetch options and base path and so many other things. But I'm just going to pass in the base like this. Now, another thing you can actually just do is also that you can export this. So you can just come in here and do get this from this create. So instead, you can export const. So in here, you can just do this. It's also acceptable. You can export sign in, sign up, and use session from this. Okay, so the base URL. So the base URL of the server, optional if you're using the same domain. So you can see that if we're using the same domain, you can just go ahead and you cancel this. You remove, you don't pass anything into this. And the reason being that they are going to actually use this Better Auth URL as the default. I believe if you just go to concepts, I think they talk about that the client. So the client, they say here that of course you have to have installed this, create the client instance. They talk about this one here. So they say in important, create this from the package, call the function to create the client, pass the base URL of your auth server. If the auth server is running on the same domain as your client, you can skip this step. So you can see you can skip adding the base URL. And that's why they say in React, because sometimes, so if you're using a different base path other than this, make sure you also pass the whole, including the localhost custom path here. So this is if you're not using, if you're using like React, but if you're using Next, then this base URL shouldn't be a problem because they will pass the other one direct. Okay, so that is nice. So you can see we can use this in signing in and blah, blah. Okay, so moving on. What next? We are done with the auth client. So we should just be able now to sign in people and do a lot of things. I'm just going to first go down back to the Next.js thing. Integrations, Next.js. So we done with this. Okay, we are done with creating the client. So you can see once you have created the client, you can use this. Okay, so there is server actions. So at the server, getting session at the server, this is how you get the session at the server. So for instance, if you want to get a user, we'll be using this. Remember that. Then getting the session on this. So server actions, cookies. Okay, so there is one thing you have to use, server action cookies. When you call a function that needs to set cookies, like sign in email or sign up email in server action, cookies want to be set. This is because server actions need to use the cookie helper from Next.js to set the cookies. To simplify this, you can use the Next Cookies plugin, which will automatically set the cookies for you wherever you set the cookie header is present. So we need to add in this plugin, and they are saying here, make sure that this is the last plugin in the array. So you just have to come here, add this. So under the, you can see this in the auth.ts. So down in the auth.ts, down last, you can just minimize this account, email, and database. So down here, you can just add the plugins, and then you can just say call this plugin from Better Auth, just like this. You can see here, this is imported from Better Auth Next.js. So when you call a function that set cookies, they will be automatically set. So when you want to sign in a user which is doing sign in email, so this is nice. Okay. So now I'm just going to go ahead and start the function, but before that, let's set up the middleware. Now, I want to emphasize the middleware thing. If you remember the instance that happened with Next.js last time, people were relying on the middleware. There was a breach that happened due to the middleware. So even when you have the middleware, the best application that you should just like put multiple layers. Okay, so like if you're going to apply the auth, you're supposed to put, if this is your application, you need to put a lot of guards to it. You can first put the first batch of auth. For instance, any user that comes, maybe you add, for instance, the middleware. So this person comes and he lands on the middleware. So for the middleware, this one is going to run on every request. So this means that you can just set the middleware in your app to be the gate man. So this one will be our gatekeeper here. Then from this, okay, from this, you can just simply have now for independent pages. Let's say this is a page and this is a page. So let's say you have multiple pages like so. So these are multiple pages in your application like this. These are pages. Here you're supposed now to use session. In each of these pages that are supposed to be protected, here this is why you use the session. So even when you know that there is a gatekeeper who is tracking the authenticated user, still in each independent page, you're supposed to use the session to check if really this user is authenticated, to make sure that if someone bypasses this, he doesn't have to pass and access everything. This is what happens with the Next.js breach. So if, for instance, you're having a paywall, you're having the payments, you're having all these things to access the payments, and you leave all these ones to only one man, which is the middleware, you are risking your application. Even when you have put the middleware, you need to actually implement all these others, to protect the page in each page, maybe in each layout actually. So like in each layout, you can check still to make sure that someone can't enter without being checked. So that's what I wanted to emphasize. Putting a middleware does not mean that you are done. No. So let's go here. Just simply go for this one. For Next.js release, just go for this one, which uses Better Auth. There is a new one. I didn't try this one, but they're saying for Next.js release 15.2 and above. So you can see 15.2. The Next.js we are using right now is Next.js 15.18. So we are not using 2, so this one won't work. Okay, this won't work because we're using 1.8. So let's stick to this one. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and copy all this, and I'm just going to add it in the middleware. So I'm just going to go down here and create a middleware. So middleware like this, .ts, and then paste this. Okay, so let's see. So there is this Better Auth fetch. So you can copy this and add it to the browser. This is supposed to be a library. So if you just open this, or Better Fetch is a library. So you can see advanced fetch wrapper for TypeScript with standard schema validation like Zor and this. We'll maybe dip this in another day, but right now we just simply want to use it. So you can just go on npm and we get this Better Auth. So if you just go down here, you can just install this. What does the documentation say? If you just go docs and the installation, like introduction, it's supposed to have like the installation here. Anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and install this. to avoid wasting time. So just going to say pnpm add and just add beta fetch because we're using it in here. So one more thing, we have to make sure that this one gets the session. So using the beta fetch gets for us the session and it checks the URL and checks if this user has the cookie, and if the cookie is there, so it gets the session, just basically gets the session and checks if there is no session and it sends it the sign in. So this one is actual login. We call this one to be login, like this. So it sends this person to the login. Then the protected pages. So these ones you can add the protected. So if you put the slash, the apply middleware to specific routes. So for instance, slash dashboard, it should just be able to protect that page. If that is not there, it will just go ahead and do this. So let's run the migration. I'm not sure if we have already run the migration. I just say npx prisma migrate dev name init. So this one is going to push our schema. Okay, what's going on here? Checking the status of migration for production. Prisma migration status, specify this. Compare databases. Wait. Let's make sure everything is okay. .env. We have database URL. This is pointing to our Postgres instance from Supabase. And if you just go back to Prisma, we have this. This should just work. Just like C clear. What do you mean? Let's actually just stop the server. Actually, I'm just going to stop the server. I'm just going to say clear also here. npx prisma migrate, I think dev --name init. It should just like work. Okay, so this is the command we run to migrate, and the migration means that we are pushing our schema to our, because if you just go back to right now to this, let me close this out. So if we just go back to our tables, we don't have any tables right now. Okay, no tables created yet. So now this one should just go ahead and create these tables we need. So we need the users table, we need the sessions table, we need the account table, and all these other ones. Nice. So you can see that this generated a new Prisma client. And if you check, if I can refresh, I guess. Yeah, so we can see that we have a lot of tables, right? This is nice. So we have the tables. I'm just going to clear this, and let's start this off again, pnpm dev. Okay, so now let's go to our login and start. So this is where the actual now stuff starts. The first thing you need to understand is how do we do, for instance, the register. So let's start with the register. How do we register a new user? Okay, so we just need to call the register function. So first thing is create. If you see here, you will see that we have this register user. So you can call this maybe sign up user or register user. So I will just go ahead and create my actions. Of course, you can use the API, guys. You can use the API routes. That has no problem. But for this, I'm just going to use actions. And then in this action, I'm just going to have the first one, which is going to be maybe users.ts. And I'm just going to have this export async function register user, like this. And this is just a user function. First of all, you need, what is this? So I need to make sure that this is in the use server, and I'm just going to do the try catch. So the one thing you can just say console.log the data, whichever data is coming in here. So the data is going to be of type here. So in the sign up, we have register form values. So I'm just going to say that this is the same data that is going to be coming here, is going to be of register form values. And let's go ahead and console.log the data. And if there is error, we're just also going to go ahead and console.log the error. Now the error is a very big thing here. You're going to see that. So I'm just going to go ahead. So I cannot console.log the data. So if you just go back to sign up, and now you can just go ahead and call this. I'm just going to go ahead and I'll comment this. Okay. So we need just to simply return the success. So within this register function, let me first call this register user. And let's go ahead and say that we're just going to return. So we can return success. Okay. Like true. And then data. Then you can just return, like, for instance, the data. And then the error message. For now, maybe we just make it null. Just like this. And the same thing you can do here. We'll just be doing an if statement here in a, but never mind right now. Let me just first add this false, null, and we can just say something went wrong. So something went wrong, just like this. So let me just go ahead and, so if you just go back to the sign up, you can see that we have result.message. So you can just say dot error. For instance, if there is success, I think we're supposed to add like a success message, like instead of the message. Let's see. So it is on the result.success. So probably meaning that this is supposed to have the success and so on. So if it is successful, we can also have the can we just like call this message? I don't know. We have success data and then error. So here error is null. Do we need to add also the message? Okay, anyways, I'm just going to say here, user created successfully. So here, user, or here, your account has been created successfully. Just like this. And then push the dashboard. For now, let's just like first wait. And then for the error, result.message. So I think it was adding it on this dot error. I'm just going to say dot error, just like this. And the same thing like this side. I'm just going to go ahead and see. We are on the sign up. Refresh, see if everything is still okay. Now let's go ahead and just sign in. First name, last name, email, and password. So here, login at 2025. And you can see this. And if you check on this, you can see that we have the first name, last name, email, and password. Nice. So the data is reaching the site. So this is why we're supposed to do a number of things. So after reaching this register, so let's do a number of things. The first one, this is where we have to call the register API. Okay, so this Better Auth uses APIs. So if you just go back here, and you just go to concepts, and then they have this entire API. And this API has a lot of things that you can do. Okay, for instance, if you want to get a session, this is how you get it. You can call a lot of this. So for instance, here you can do this. Okay, so if you want to say the headers, this is how you can do it. They say the headers, and will be set, will be a headers object, which you can get the cookies or the headers. So you need to call this. You can get access to the headers, then the response, and then you can await auth API. So we just need to call this here. I'm not sure we need access. We don't need the access to the headers. So I'm just going to call this method sign up email. Okay, I'm just going to call this method sign up email. So I'm just going to come here, and I will just do this. Of course, this one has to be async, and now it's called our auth. So we have auth API.signup email. So this is the API for signing up a new email. I don't need this. I just want to pass in the body. Now, before we pass in all other things, there is one more thing you need to understand. So if you continue down here in this, let me just go on the database. So we have where we have adapters and blah, blah. So if you continue getting down here, you see the customizations that comes with this. So they say that this is the core schema. So the core schema, they give the table. They gave us this when we ran the Better Auth generate. They generated for us the schemas, the session schema, the account schema, and the verification. Now you can customize the table names because by default, they name them the way they are here. If you want to change the table names, you can customize like this. And you do this in the auth. So under user, you can put the model, and then you start customizing how you want these to be. But what we need to actually customize for our case is going to be extending the core schema. So by default, they have their values, but you can add in, you can extend the user schema with additional fields. This is exactly what we want. So we want to add this user, and then we're going to extend things. So I'm just going to copy this object. Okay. And you can see here, I'm just going to go here. In the auth, you do this one in the auth, so lib auth. And now down wherever you want, you can put the user, and within this user, we can add additional fields. So the additional fields here, we have the type, which is going to leave it as a string, required. So you can just say required true or false. So this is not required. Default value is going to be user, then capital. Input, so this one don't allow users to set their role. So if you want people to type in somewhere to select their role, then you can just say input value false, or you can just say true or false. It's up to you. The another one we want to add is going to be first name. So want to add in first name, which is going to be a string. Required, you're just going to say true. This is going to be required. And then default value, you don't need to set the default value for this. So just going to duplicate this and add last name. So this is how you add additional fields that we added in our schema. So if you remember in the users model, we added in some more things. We added in the role, first name, and last name. So we need to add also those ones in this auth. So after doing this, that's the only thing you need to do. So you can access additional fields in your application logic like so. So wherever you call the sign up and you pass in all the necessary information like this, now this will be on the response. Okay, that's the only thing we just want to only do. Actually, we just reach on this one. And you can see here they're saying if you're just using, so mapping profile, to user for the first name and last name. So you can see, you can also add in this, still in the auth.ts, you can map this actually. So we can also go ahead and say social providers. So we already had the social providers, I guess, in this. So what you only need to do is for just copy for GitHub. So you can see now GitHub is like this, and you just simply add this map. So you see in the GitHub, we already have the client and the client secret. So we simply add one more thing, which is this map. So I'm just going to copy this, the map profile thing. So just come here and let's add this. Nice. Do the same thing for Google. So map profile, just copy this, just add it here, just like that. Nice. And then ID generation, you can also generate if you're using the DB, and that's, I think, the thing we just want. Through errors. Okay, plugin schema. Okay, so that's the only things we wanted. So with that, we can now go back in the users, and now when we call this, we need to pass in the email, which is going to be data.email. So here, data.email, and then password is going to be data.password. And by the way, for this one, you don't need to generate, you don't need to hash the password. They will do hashing behind the scene for us. Then name. So name is going to be, we're going to generate this from data.name, dot first name, then you put space, data.last name, just like this. And finally, we add our first name. So this is going to be data.first name, and then last name, which is going to be data.last name. I like how everything is type safe. So basically this is going to go ahead and create the user. So if you want to access anything from this, so if this is done, then you can do other things if you want. But if this is successful, then we just go ahead and turn success, then the data and the error. Now, the error instance that can happen here are so many. We're just going to look at that in a second. Let's go ahead and try this. By the way, we didn't add our data, our stuff. Now I can just go ahead and comment some things in the sign up. So you just go back here. Let's put the router. And this makes us to use everything. So here, if I just go back, refresh. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and sign up. So just add these details, login 2025. They just go ahead and try to create our first user. So it is saying creating here. Of course, you can customize this. And it seems we have a problem. I'm just going to go also the side down here to see if we have any errors per se. If you just go down here, providers, blah, blah, warnings, and okay. So it seems like provider Google is missing. Okay, let me just go ahead and add this because this might be the problem. I'm just going to go ahead and add this GitHub and this Google. Just give me a second. I'll just go ahead and add these ones so that you can just also go ahead. We have talked about this Google. Nevertheless, it created the user, but for some reason it did not do this sooner. Oh, okay, I understand why it didn't do the toast. My bad. You're supposed to go inside the layout. So the notification is what didn't happen. Everything worked actually. Let's just go back to our app in the layout, this big layout. You're supposed to go here and add the toaster from sooner, and let's add the rich colors just like this. That's why the toaster. So you can see actually that this created, let's protect this page. Okay, let's try to protect that page. So I'm just going to go here. Okay. So we have this page, protected page. I can just go here in the layout. And by the way, we already have a middleware protecting this page, I believe. Okay, I think we have a middleware protecting this page. This is a point where I put the dashboard. So let me just add the dashboard right quickly. Let's just add the actual dashboard here. We just go to shard very fast. Go to installation. Go to installation. Let's go ahead and look for. Let's go ahead and look for this dashboard. Where is it? Just go to blocks. I'm just going to take a simple block, whether this one or whichever, it doesn't really matter at this point, but I just like add a simple block. So I'm just going to add this for that matter. Just get this. Let's see if it has many. This one seems to be having a lot of things. Really? Okay, let's just like go here on the sidebars. No, I'm just going to get these featured ones. Maybe I should take this one, which has like the empty. It will have a few things. This one has a lot of things. That's like the charts. It has this one has a lot of stuff, guys. So I might just not want to get into maybe this one. I'm just going to get the one that is empty. I'm just going to get this one. Okay, it has relatively few stuff compared to this one, but again, it is empty. So yes, I could get this one. So the first thing I'm just going to do is you can actually just like use this command here. Let's try it. Since we don't have any dashboard, like, should we use the command? I'm not sure, but let's just go here and see. So just do this. Let's stop. Either you can stop the server. Let me stop the server for a second. So let's just go ahead and add this dashboard 01. Okay. Updating. So it's going to install all the components that are required in the UI. Okay, so it has done all these, it has installed all the necessary things. And the more important, I think it has added it in the dashboard. Oh, it hasn't actually added it. So it just simply installed, I think, it all added the necessary stuff. It created app dashboard page. Okay, so it created this. Okay, so just simply drop this dashboard. Let's drop it in the protected. So you can just go ahead and remove this. I'm just going to simply go get the dashboard, add it in the protected layout, like so. I think that one should just like update everything. So if you just go here, we have the data, and then we have this page like this. And I'm just going to go ahead and see if this works. Refresh. Is the server running? Let's start the server. So p npm Dave. Okay. Let's just get the dashboard. So you can see it. If first checked, provider Google is missing. We'll add these ones. Okay. Nice. They just give it a weight. Nice. So we have everything in, looking great. Okay. However much this doesn't look great here. Most especially on these cards here, we can fix that. Okay, we can fix that. And the first thing I need to do is first do some few things. So copy everything in the page. Just copy everything the way it is, just like this whole entire page. Okay, just copy this and bring it inside the layout. In fact, yeah, just copy everything and bring it to the layout. So replace this. The only thing is to replace this and still make it dashboard layout. And of course, still just do this. Children. And then here, children to be of type React node, just like this. And then this one. So now what we need is whatever you see where we have this. So we have the site header inside here, and then we have this flex one. So you can just say copy either what is inside here, okay, and just cut. And you can leave this flex one, flex call, and then just come here and add children, just like this. Go back to the page, and the only thing you need in the page is this. So add this here. Then all the things we are not using, remove them. Similarly, go back to the layout. Things we are not using, like the data, then like section cards, and all these, just go ahead and remove them. So this should just give us exactly the same thing. It means our session. Okay, so now we cannot see the dashboard if I just go to the dashboard. Okay, so I just want to see these ones, these cards. Let's fix them in a second. So go to page. These section cards, I feel like they should be in a grid. So we have section cards, which we are using a lot of things here. Okay. So this is the card, and this is another card, this is another card, this is another card, and so on. So I don't know what is this, but I'm just going to do right now, I'm just going to add a grid. So I'm just going to say grid. I'm just going to add just log px. I'm just going to do this grid calls this px4. Let me just remove everything and leave on a grid. And we can just all agree that in LG, we just need MD. We need grid cores 2, just like this. So with that, this should just like fix them. Yeah. Then we have this thing at container. Then /card. I'm not sure what that is. Basically, I'm also just going to go ahead and remove this. Okay. Just going to remove that class name. I don't know what that means anyways. Okay, so then we have this overflow, and this is caused by the form, I believe. Okay, or this table. So I can just go to the table page. So we have data table here. I'm just going to go ahead and remove this. Okay, so we have this looking now fine. I love this. So the only thing we're interested in is this logged in user. Okay, we need this logged in user and the logout. So you just need to find where we have that. So in the page, we have two things. We're not using this and the data table. We are not using those ones. So we just need to pass in. So in the layout, it is where we have, so if you just go back in the layout, is where we have the app sidebar. And in the site header, if you look at this, we don't have much going on. The whole thing is in the app sidebar. In the app sidebar is where we have this user. So if you just check down, we have this nav and we have the user. If you look at the user, data.nav user, you can look at the user is having only these three things: the name, email, and the avatar. So you can just copy this. The user must have these details. So I will just go and pass in. And by the way, we can just like nav user. So you can just create the types for this and export them. Export. Nav user. And this is going to be this. Export type, of course. The nav user is going to be this object, like so. And you can just go ahead and remove user to be just nav user. Okay, maybe nav user props, and even here nav user props. Just avoid the confusion. So we have this. We can now go ahead in the layout and let's try to get the session here. So you can just say const. So we just need to look at how do we get the session in the, so if you just go back here in the client, you can just get the session in any place you want. So for instance, in Next, we can just go back to, I think, on the what's in the sessions. Okay, this is something to do with the session. So you can also just get the session from the client like this. Use the use session. I just want the one for I just want the one for getting started. Why is it in the basic usage here? Sign up. So they give us the sign up. Okay. Oh, you can just even just call this on success, and there's even on error, and so on and so on, like that. I just want to see one thing, which is on the here. So down here, there is why you can get the, I think it was in the integrations Next.js. They just told us how to get the client. So if you create the client, you can get on the server, you can use this. Const session is that. So you can just go into use this one. So let's make this async. And let's get await auth from auth options, or the auth.js. And then you can also get the headers just like this. So this one should give us the session. From the session, we can get the user. So we can say const user is equal to session. So from the session dot user, you can get this user. Okay, and you can see this user has all these details here. So for now, what I'm just going to do, I will pass in the only things we want. So I'm just going to come here on the sidebar. I will pass in the user, like so. And this user, I'm just going to give him a few details. So from the user we want, we can just say nav user is going to be equal to an object. So in this, we need only three things. If you remember, in the app sidebar, in the nav user, we only need these three things. So you can just come here and you get the name, which is going to be session dot user dot name, and we can just give this a default. So I'm just going to copy for all these ones. So the email, this is going to be email, and then for the avatar, this is going to be image, and then you can provide the default image if you want. So I just get this nav user, pass him as a user like this. If you just go in the app sidebar, so how do we append the props in here? First of all, I'm just going to say here, we'll have user. And here I'm just going to say components react.this. I think you can just say and then you pass in the user. It's going to be of type nav user, like this, nav props, user props. So you can see now this user, we can now pass this user in this. Okay, so if everything is right, we need to see the logged in user, just like that. And you see here, it is here, guys. My name's so this created the session, and we have all the details. You can see it here. This was nice. Okay, let's see how can you log out. Okay, so if you come here, and if they have a search, for some reason they don't have a search, that's like really not great. So I would want to see this API things that you can call on the API. Sure, all these functions are there, by the way. Just is to where to find them. Even me, I'm still learning the documentation a little bit, but I'm just like trying to get what do I want and where do I find it. But they clearly have everything you need. You can call these functions basic usage, sign up. So we have the sign up. So we can also sign in we're just going to call this sign in server side. Then single or sign in with also provided. So we're just going to look at these ones. Of course, these ones we'll see them. Sign out is here basically. So you can pass in where this. So I'm just going to go ahead and go get this. So in the nav user, I think is where we have the sign out. So if you just look down here, we have this logout icon. Okay. So this one can take in on click, which is going to take in handle log out like this. So let's go ahead and create this function handle logout. So here async function and log out, and then inside you can do a try catch, and then in here I'm just going to do this. Let me console log error. And then here we need to call the auth client, and I think this is where we have the client. So we have auth client here. Oh, okay. So if we had named it auth client, so we can just like get here, I think even the sign out. Yeah. So you can just call sign out direct from this auth client. So they have sign in, sign up, use session. So let me just go here. I don't know where I'm supposed to go right now. In the nav user, so we can basically call this await sign out, and we get it from there. And it takes in the fetch options, which on success we call router. So let me create the router here. Const router is equal to use router from next navigation. And now we can route.push to the login if you get out. Okay, so this is good. Let's go ahead and try this out. I'm just going to go here, refresh. And then go log out. Okay, so this takes us to the login. And if you try to access the dashboard, you see you're directed to the login. And what is protecting right now is the middleware. If you remember, this is what is being, or what is protecting. This is the middleware that is protecting this page here, which is nice. Now let's implement the sign in. So just going also to go to the login, and let's create the login user. So here let's comment this. So let's go ahead and create this login user. So inside the users, I'm just going to simply duplicate this and just create login user. Now from the login form, we have these login values. So I'm just going to say that the data here is of login values. So similarly, this is going to come here and call the sign in. So we have sign in email, like so. So here we just only want two things, which is email and password. And success and everything, let's leave it the way it is. So if you just go back to the login, let's call the login here. On success, we can just come here, logged in successfully. Logged in successfully. And you can also route the dashboard, and of course here if there is any error we can just say dot error. Okay, so this is nice. Let's go ahead and try login user. Refresh, and let's go ahead try email and then the password. Okay, and login success. This should route us to the dashboard, and we are on the dashboard with the authenticated person. Now we need to handle errors. At this point, let's just do error handling. So the error handling we are talking about is, for instance, if the password is incorrect. So let me just log out. So for instance, if you try to create the same user or you log in with just like a different password, this should give us like an error, right? According right now, we said something went wrong, but supposed to give us maybe a genuine or a very good error. If I just go down here, you will see that it has this user not found. Like this gave us the error, but we didn't capture it. You can see user not found for this email. Then error, invalid email or password. You can see status, unauthorized, body, headers, and this. So we need to tap into this error like this because it returns really nice error like this. Now with error handling, I'm not sure where to find them in the docs. Now that the docs, how come the docs don't have search? Like, am I the one who is not finding the search? How come the document? Okay, the search is here. I was going to wonder. So error, maybe like handling errors. Let's see if there anything else. Throwing errors. API error handling. Okay. Sign in error, for instance. So you can see here, they give you an API if it is an API instance of the error. So we just need to use this type of thing. Sign in. Why are they giving us only two things? Sign up. So here you can get the cookies, error handling. So you have this access to the error and you can look at the instance of the error. So you can see API and then you have access to the statuses. So let's go back here. So instead of just like console.log error, so I'm just going to go to these users and let's go to, for instance, sign up. Okay, let's start with the sign in anyways, since we are on the sign in. So I just want to go ahead and console instead of consoling the error like this. Let's say if you can get this from Better Auth. Okay, error.message. You can see now error.message and error.status. So we have these statuses. So we can look at different instances for the wrong password and all that. They are saying that API, the export was not found. What's going on here? I'm saying we have API error from Better Auth. API error from Better Auth API. That's why I'm supposed to get it just like this. So this should fix it. Okay, so we are good. So we have now along this. I just want to look at the terminal. So let me just go ahead, sign in, go back to the terminal. I just want to look at these instances. Okay. So I want you to look at the data, the error. So you can see we have the error, which is user not found, and then invalid email or password, this one, and then you have this unauthorized. Okay, so we can first take the first case, which is this. Like, this is going to be the most used case here on the sign in, and we can do an if statement within this. We say that if error dot status is equal to, so now we can see here the ones which are there. So the one that we're getting was, so there is conflict and blah blah. The one that we are looking for right now is unauthorized, just like this. If that's the case, so want to return here, just return with this, just return success false, data null, and then here just going to put the error. So just error dot message, just like that. And then we can just do else. So even in this, we can just say there are some other maybe status codes, like I don't know, but this is the most important one in here. If someone enters a wrong password, you need to tell him that. Let's put like a wrong password, the same email. I'm just going to put in my email, but the password is going to be wrong. So I'm just going to put in a very long password. And if you just try to sign in, they will also give us an object down here. So you can see this still gives us the same thing, which is invalid email or password, which is good. And you can see the password that was typed is here. So for that case, this, you can see invalid email or password. Okay, I'm just going to also give this here. I can just go ahead and listen for this instance. Okay, I can also return that the message, because here is like the message is invalid email or password. So I would want to say here wrong credentials for this case. So what I can also pass in is, I can also pass in the status here. Let me pass in the status is going to be equal to, sorry, to error dot status, just like this. And if you want to, so you can look at the status code just in case you want to pass in the to use the status codes. They have also the status codes, but we can just pass in this. So if we pass in, for instance, this here, I don't know the status, but we can just go ahead and get this on the front in the sign in, or just log in. So you can just come here and I just say if there is an error, for instance, instead of doing this, I'm just going to also check here, and I say if. Okay, so which is going to be result dot error. Okay, if there is an error, so here just going to add now status. So if result dot status equals unauthorized, because right now that's the only one we are sending, we want to toast. So you can just go ahead and toast, for instance here, wrong credentials. And then you put the description to be this description here. And then for the errors part, if it's just like another one, then you can just say else. Then you just simply want to simply toast a normal error, just like that. Okay, so this is a beta error handling list. So if you just go back still in this for and the users, so you can capture different instances here. Okay, and if this is not an instance, if this isn't an instance, then it can just go ahead and return this, something went wrong. Okay, so that is okay. I'm just going to capture this. The same thing, I'm just going to copy this, take it to the sign up. Okay, I'm just going to go here, console the error, of course, and then here. Now we can also just tap into different errors. So let's go to the sign up. So sign up, create an account. So in the first one, I just want to create a user who already exists. So this one shouldn't create the account, right? I'm just going to try to create an account with the existing user. So this is continue. So this one should give us an error also, but we just want to see the status. So you can see here is user already exists and a processed entity. So you can copy this. Okay, and then you tap into this and you say an processed entity, data is this, error, and the status. We are passing those ones. Okay, there is another one. So for instance, which one could that be? The most one is just like when the email exists. Others, we are protect them on the front end. Okay, but you can just go ahead and test out all other entities. I'm just going to leave this one. For the status code, you can see even the status code here is 422 and a processable entity. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and tap also into this. So in my sign up, I will just simply copy this. This here, the errors part, and I will just go to the sign up, and then I will just say where we have the errors, I will just also put this, and this one's going to be an unprocessable entity, and then you're just going to say email exists. So here user a, okay, I say here email exists. So then we put the error just like this. So if we just go back and try to do that, So you can see email exists, user already exists. So we can now handle it. This is how you can handle the errors in different ways. Okay, so now let's talk about this Google and they sign in with Google. I think before that, if wanted, we could just like talk about the forget password. I feel like the time has already gone. We're in 2 hours. I just want to talk about the login with Google. So I'm just going to go here where we have this Google authentication. We need to first go ahead and add the Google credentials. Okay. If you just go back to this, I don't know what notes do they have, but if you just go back to the authentication, they have one for GitHub. They also have one for Google. They even have one for TikTok, Twitch, all these ones, nice ones. So let's go here. If you go to GitHub, they give you to use GitHub sign in, you need a client ID and a client request. You can get them from GitHub developer portal. Make sure to set the redirect URL to localhost 3000 API callback GitHub for this. Configure the provider. So you can just go ahead and create a this. Let's go and try this. You know, I'm just going to go ahead and try this. So right click. And you can see I already have like a tons of apps, but I'm just going to go ahead and create a new app. I'm just going to call this one Better Auth Starter Kit. Better Auth Starter Kit. And then the home page is going to be localhost 3000. This is a Next.js Better Auth Starter Kit. And then the authorization URL, set it to this, the one they said here. You can see, make sure that they set the redirect URL to this one here. So I think that is the one they are talking about. Just register the application, then get this client secret. So we just need to say, if you guys go back to the auth, so if you just go back to the auth here, we need this say this auth this auth this and then this. Just going to copy those ones, go to the environmental variables down here, set this. So we need basically these 4. So I'm just going to do that. Just like this. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. This is the GitHub client ID. So just GitHub client ID like this. Now you can just go ahead and generate this. Now to generate this, you have to log into your account. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and log in, and then this will just generate this, and then you just go ahead and add it there, just like so. And then you have the Google client and then the Google secret. So these ones I'm just going to use the ones I normally use for all my starter kits. So I already have like those ones I use for other starter kits, I believe. So I'm just going to go to any of these ones. Should just give me the ones for Google. So I'm just going to use not the ones for GitHub. I just want the one for Google. Close this. And I'm just going to say Google client ID and Google secret. So just go ahead and get yours. So the same thing, follow the Google. So they just go the Google Search Console, configure the providers, and just like use that. So let's start with this one. They give us the configure in the provider. So you need to make sure we have this, which we have already set. Now sign in with GitHub. You simply need that the provider to use, it should just get the GitHub. So in your auth client, you can just say consign in is await. So you can just say create this here, which is using the sign in. Okay, so I just need this method. Okay. I'll just like create this function and I export it. Okay, I'll just create this function and I export it. It may be the auth client. I'm just going to go in the auth client. Just come here. In the auth client, I will just export another one. So you can just export just like this. Okay, so since we already have the sign in here, you cannot export that, but I'm just going to say sign in with social. So I'm just going to say here sign in with socials. So you can just have this function, which is an async function. And I simply say await sign in. So I already have the sign in function up there. Now here, I just want this one to take in the provider. So I'm just going to say here provider, and this provider is going to be of type. So for now, I'm just going to say Google or GitHub, GitHub, just like this. So they have many providers. So you can just come here and I put the provider here, just like this. So you can of course add as many providers you want. So I'm just going to be using this function to sign in using whichever provider. Okay, you can just like pass in the provider, and then this should just work. So you can see. So we just need to go ahead and call this function, I guess. Let me see if I try to call this function. So just go to, and by the way, you realize that part of the login and sign in is the same. So I'm just going to go ahead and go back to the login. So what I would do is, can I extract the social buttons? So because on top here we have the social buttons. We have these buttons here, these two buttons here. So I would just copy this, and in the auth, I'm just going to say that social buttons .tsx rfc, and let's go ahead and add them here. And I'm just going to first bring in this and also bring in the icons, just like this. And now I can just bring in the the other function, but let me just first go back on the sign up. So we still have these ones, so you can just come here and I say social buttons. The same thing to the login. Just say social buttons. Okay, so just go to the social buttons. So while we have this, I'm just going to say on click. Okay, so you can just have a function. In fact, let me just go back to the auth client. Now, if you just think about it, it is this this function. I don't think we just need to create this from this side. We can create this from basically here. You can just say create this. We don't need now to export it. Make sure that this is use client. So I have this, you know, like these normal functions. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this. So I'm just going to say async function handle sign in, and then just paste this. Okay, now we just simply just call the sign in from client async function. Oh, I'm just looking at this here. Where is this one coming from? I think it's just for this. Okay, they just call this handle sign in on any of these buttons like this. And so this one, if we pass in a provider like this, then you should just call it, you can just call it handle sign in, and then you pass in the provider. In this case, GitHub and Google. They just do this. They just do the same thing with, oh, so this is Google. Let me just do the same thing with GitHub. So here I'm just going to start with also GitHub. Okay, so for Google, I'm just going to use, so this should now go back here. Why do we have the errors? Remove the icons. Similarly, in this one, go and remove the icons. Like, would have added them on both login and logout. So if I just go back here, refresh, so you can select this one will be the same thing. They have these icons. Now, the first thing I just want to do is copy this application and just take it to another browser where you can use another account. So we have this. Let's just go ahead and sign up or log in. Let me just use Google. Now, since I have the one, let's just see, access blocked. Okay. We need to create the, I need to create the one for this starter kit. Basically, Let me see if I click on this. So I can just go back here. Let me just get these. So I'm just going to copy this. So you can just go to the console. Just go here. Make sure you're logged into your account. And I can just go ahead and create another one. So let me just go here. I already have the one for these two projects. I'm just going to create a new project. I'm just going to call this Better Auth Starter Kit. And I'm just going to simply create this project and make sure after creating it, I will select that project. Select the project. Okay. So now you can just go ahead and configure the auth consent screen. That is the first one. So the auth get started. App name is going to be Better Auth Starter Kit. Starter Kit. Then support email. I will just leave this. Next. Just say external. Next. Then the email, you can just go ahead and put the same email like this one. Okay, just like that. Next. So you can see here, I agree, and then continue, finish, create. So this one sets up the consent screen. So we need to proceed now to credentials. So you can just go back here. Let me just go back here. I just need to go to credentials, create auth client. Application, let's say web. Leave this one the way it is. You can just like change this one the name if you want. Now here is add the redirect. This is where we add our localhost 3000. So this localhost 3000, this is why you add it, just like this. So you can add as many URIs. The same thing here, the redirect. So for this, we're just going to add the redirect, the one they have said here. Make sure to set this to Google, so you can copy this. And for production, make sure the URL replication, e.g. domain.com. So of course, you're supposed to change this in production. Add. So you can add as many here, but just going to leave, remove this one. Leave only one, and even this one. Create. So they first give us the client. So you can see here that you can download even the JSON. So I want to copy this client ID. So in the env, you can put the client. And let's get the click OK. And if I click in this, I just want to I don't have the secret. Add secret. Okay, so it gives me this. Copy And let's add this in here. Okay, so we have now everything we need. So I'm just going to go back to our application. Since we have everything set now, let's go back to this, reload. By the way, we can just like restart this since we changed something in the MV. Let me just go back here on the app and just simply restart it to make sure everything is okay. I will also refresh this page in the browser. I will click to log in with Google. Okay, so you can see here, to continue to Better Auth starter kit. I'm just going to go here and click it, this one, and you can send into the Better Auth starter kit. And now, this should just redirect us back to the dashboard, I guess. Okay, it directed us just back to this. So if you want to know we are logged in, we should just show here a button for the dashboard. So I'm just going to go to the header. So we just have the components. So I can reuse the component for the nav user here. Like I can just go ahead and reuse this component, but I'm just going to go ahead and add only a few things. So can you get the session at the client? So you can see this one also gives us the use session. So I'm just going to go to the where we have the header somewhere. So I need to where you can just have front. So in the front we have the header. So in this, can we just access and we say, for instance, const, this is from use session. So you can see the client gives us use session, and we can just say give data, rename this as session. And can we just say const, for instance, user is equal to session, the user. So you can just say here, we have user is equal session.user, and we can have that. So you can just say here, for example, that if there is session, so we're just going to use this session. So where we have the login buttons down here, this is where we have them. So I will just say that if, okay, so if we have session, if session is true, then I just want to add, if this is true, I just want to add a button. So I'm just going to add a button that says dashboard. So you can just go to the dashboard just like this. Okay, it is we're just going to add these two links, and for this we can of course wrap this in a link, next link, which is going to be the dashboard, of course, and then href of /dashboard, and then here we have as child, just like this. So if I just go back to this, you can see that we have the dashboard. Maybe this should be added in a div. Just like this. And let's give this a variant of ghost. So I'm just going to give this a variant of ghost. Go back. I'm just going to close this page. I don't know why. I'm just going to go back. And now we have dashboard. Maybe we just give it another color. I'm just going to say class name, text, blue, 600. So you just like have this, you can just click go to this. That means that we have this. So if you just go to the dashboard, okay, so you can see here we have this logged in. We have even the image captured very nicely, a logo for this hub, and the name, and even the email. I'm just going to go now log in with GitHub. So if I just go back to our app, now let's log in using GitHub. And just create this. Now remember this email is already there. Okay, so this one is where we're supposed to do the account linking so that it is only one. So now it should just have done the account linking. So now if I just go to the dashboard, it must have linked my account now to be one, because it did not tell us that this user already exists. It did not tell us that you are registering another account with the same user. So this is what it has done, what we call the account linking. Of course, for this, if there is no image, we should just give in this user, there is why we have this CN. So we can just generate the initials. Okay. If you want, you can just like have the generate initials and you put them there. But I think this gives us the overall use of everything. I can see that the time has gone. We are now in 3 hours. I don't want it to go more beyond than this. But we basically have login, logout, authentication. We even have users. So if we see the role of the logged in user down here, maybe we can just like add maybe a role somewhere. I don't know. But we can just like add a welcome message. Okay. Let's go up here on the dashboard. Let's add a welcome message. So I can just go back to, let me just go back to ShadCN, and I just go to documentation. Here, go to typography, and I just want to say that just like H3, just copy this. Okay, we can just like guess maybe to just give us write for me a welcome statement on the dashboard when a user logs in with his name and role. Just want 2 things. We just want okay, just create it is create in Next.js. You just need to But we just necessarily copy this statement, and just going to, here is going to add a lot of stuff like this. Greeting, then if it is in the morning, and then in the evening, and all that. I don't know if that is necessary really, but it can be something that you can just go to add in the time of the day. If user, then you add the welcome statement. Alternatively, the main version. Okay, let's just take the long version. There is also a main version. Okay, let me just go here and add in in the dashboard. Let's add in welcome.tsx, and you can just add in this welcome statement. So basically, just since it is using use effect, remember to put here use client. So let's see what is taking in is a user. So what does this user have? Basically, name, just the name only. Okay. The user is taking in a name, and let's just get at this. This user is of nav user props like this. Let's go back. We call this welcome statement in the dashboard here. So you can just come in here. You can just remove this. So in here, let's add a padding of y of 4. And then you can just say welcome statement. And let's get the user. So you can say const session is equal to auth dot API. So we first get the auth first dot API, then dot. So here we can just get the was it the session? Get session, I think. And do we pass in anything? Yes, we were passing in the headers, and this, I think it is a function. Which returns next header. Let's see, why did we get this? Okay, so this is how you get it. Just like this. Let's make this one async. And then the headers, get them from next headers. Then from this, you can pass in a user here. Const the nav user is equal to, so you can also just get the same thing here. And then we pass in here user to equal nav user. Just like this. Now in the, and you can just check if there is no user. So if no user, you can redirect, and we can just redirect to the login. Just like this, if there is no nav user. Okay, so in this statement here, you can just give the types. For instance, these options. I'm not sure if we just need to put the types of these types of this. let me first leave it like that. Then there is user.role. So we need to add in the user.role, guys. So one thing we can add in this is the role. So let me just go here and this. So we can add the role, which is going to be session dot user dot role, just like this. Okay, now in the nav user props, actually the role is not there, so you can just add the role to be string but not required, just like this. So you just come back here, we have the role. So we leave only with the options. Let me just go back here. So you can see here, good morning, this is hub, and you can see this is of user. Friday, welcome to dashboard. And maybe basically is add some padding. So just go to the dashboard. So this user role property of type string owner is not assignable type string or undefined. So just add something like a string. Okay, so I just also add here the px of 4. So if you just go back here now, we have this good morning. So this is good. Okay, this is good. I wonder why this px is not working. Oh, okay, it is working. So you have now this statement which you have the logged in user and even their stuff. So that is good. At least what we have managed to do in today's video. So thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.